think if we continue to lie to ourselves and pretend that we don't have these problems of spending and a monetary issue, and if we pretend that we don't have to cut a nickel out of all this military spending, we are just kidding ourselves. And it's getting later and later and later, so we do have to do something about it. I believe we got basically into this mess because we were very careless with our definition about, what liberty is all about. We have taken liberty and chopped it up into little pieces. Liberty, as I said earlier, is your right to your life and your liberty. But liberty shouldn't be divided into pieces. You shouldn't have personal liberty and you shouldn't have economic liberty. It's all one thing. If you have a right to your life and liberty, your lifestyle and your church and your intellectual pursuits should all be legal, and the government shouldn't be regulating that. Your body shouldn't be regulated either. If we can trust you with intellectual matters and spiritual matters, why can't we trust you with your own body? Yeah, I would think the incentive for you to take care of yourselves would be very great. Why do we need the government to tell us what we put inside our body? Why do we have to have all this protection in Washington? We have too many laws is our problem. You know, today, the one thing that we excel in is the number of prisoners that we have in this country. We have 1% of our population in prisons. There's 2.5 million prisoners that we have. We have 5% of the population, but we have 25% of the people in prisons. You know, do I think the American people are bad and have to all be in prison? No, I think we have way too many laws. That's what I think is the reason that we have them. And a lot of people in prison are for nonviolent crimes. Sometimes I see nonviolent criminals that are using so-called illegal drugs for medical reason in prison for life. At the same time, I see release of people who have committed murder and rape and say, oh, they served 5 years, let's let them out. So I tell you what, we don't need that many prisoners. What we need is a lot more self-responsibility and an understanding that we don't need 100,000 federal bureaucrats breathing down our neck, all carrying guns to tell us how to run our lives and run our property and how to spend our money. So we have to have more convictions and belief about what freedom is all about. Freedom was tested best in this country than any other country in the world. It was a huge success, but we became more materialistic to the point where we concentrated on the benefits of liberty, and we became less interested in preserving how liberty produces wealth. And then we got soft, we worked less, we borrowed money, and we printed money, and all of a sudden everything we have today is based on debt. We got very careless about that. But liberty should mean that we should have this responsibility. What it does, it releases our creative energy. We're not controlled and manipulated by government. Creative ingenuity comes from a free people and a free spirit. And that is what we have lost. And we have drifted a long way from accepting the responsibility of a free society. We've taken it upon ourselves to do too much management of people and the economy and the world today. And now we're in the midst of a major bankruptcy. To me, the most personal reason why I want and fight for the cause of liberty, it's a personal thing, and it may or may not agree with you, but I think the real reason that we should want to be free is it is in a free society that you have your best opportunity to decide how you should seek virtue and how you should achieve virtue and excellence. That's not the role of government. Today we accept the idea that government should dictate our personal habits and our economic habits and make sure everything is fair and equal. And by doing this, you have to give up liberty. And the more you depend on the government, the less liberty. The bigger the government is, the less freedoms that we have. So just look at the inexorable growth of government. And as soon as there's a crisis, a financial crisis, do it. Panic, do it. And then we have an international token crisis, and all of a sudden, oh yes, it's a time of crisis, it's time to sacrifice your liberties. Well, you don't have to sacrifice your liberties. You don't become safer by sacrificing liberty. You become less free and less prosperous. We have to change change our habits and change our understanding. We need a lot more confidence in what a free society is all about. The Republican Party, and I've been a member of the Republican Party all my life, has been preaching limited government and personal liberty and personal responsibility. And I think that is the answer. And I want to do my very best to promote that cause. And I think it's more necessary now than ever before. We are facing the crisis. We don't have to invent anything new. We can only have to look at our traditions, look at what sound money is in property rights and private contracts, and look at what a sound, sensible foreign policy would be based on common sense. Believe me, the answers are there. It would be difficult to shift gears and go back to a system based on freedom, but it's been done before, and if you do it, and you do it deliberately, there'll be adjustments. But usually it takes about a year or so to get back on our feet again. But if we continue to do what we're doing, we're going to prolong the agony like we did in the Depression, prolong the agony like the Japanese have done, never liquidate the debt, and keep bailing out everybody. They've been in the doldrums for 20 years. So I say it's time to reassert our principles, reassert our convictions that a free society is a solution and not more government. Thank you very much.